All right. I'm just gonna get right into it. All right. So, you guys are running the Queen comp. They are running a similar comp. Ignore the update. Ignore. Don't open the tab. They are running the similar comp. They are running a slightly different variant with a soldier instead of a tracer and a BAP instead of a Curie. So yeah. So the main key differences between these two comps and why I would prefer you guys run the Curious. Curious fast. Curious has that movement cooldown that allows her to escape the mirror matchup. Things such as Reaper Shotgun, the off angle soldier, or Tracer if they're running it, and the Queen. Like, you can get out of dodge really quick as Curie. Whereas BAP is going to be what you guys end up running on here if you're playing correctly. Because BAP doesn't have any, like, lateral movement. He can kind of go, like, up here, but I doubt he will. So, and even if he does, like, you're pressuring him to the point where he's probably not going to get as much value looking at his team. You can push them into here, and then while they're in this zone, you can attack them. It's fine to go up main, but you need to be aware that this is like pseudo cover, and this is the only real cover in main. So what happened here was you guys were slower because you either mismanaged your amps or something, and so their Reaper got there way faster than our Reaper. So our Reaper needs to be jockeying for space here if we're going to try to play this zone. Otherwise, this Reaper is just going to control it, all of this whole like area, and make it really hard for our Reaper to get ground, which in turn makes it very difficult for our Junker Queen to like walk up and pressure their team. Instead, it's going to be this Reaper controlling this space, and then their Junker Queen coming up and having full control of the space, whereas ours is sticking here, and our team is in the open because they can see us. Go away. So, let's see what happens next. Let me change this really quick. There it is. Alright, so luckily their Junker Queen is late, but where's our Reaper? Our Reaper was 1 HP, so he had to back for a second. We don't want that happening. Easy way to prevent this from happening is going, instead of coming in this way, you come in this way. In which case, you only have to be aware of this. You can set your Tracer up a different flank angle, coming up from behind them or from point. So I would suggest, if you're not sure what comp they're going to run, you come this way. Because your Junker Queen comp wants to exist in doorways. Big open doorways where your Queen doesn't have to soak up a lot of damage, but she can... let me show you exactly what she can do. She can come play right here. Or let's mirror it. Let's go on our side of the map. You can play right here against either this doorway if they're in this open space, and your team can play like over here, or your team can play on the other side of this wall, and you can play right here as the Queen. And then you just, in order to engage this Queen, you either need to have shouts, your DPS need to be in place, or you need to hit a big axe. If you hit a big axe, you guys can go right in. Here, let me move my camera down just a little bit so that you can see health bars and stuff. Alright. So yeah, main goal of this comp. Oh, let me show you the Tracer flank that I would suggest you go on, because this up here, and then you're wrapping around this way, which makes you get to see them beforehand. That's the positive of this. They can sometimes see you, but if you're like sneaky, you can go through the point, depending on how your team pans out or whatnot. And yeah. Alright. So they use both their swings. We use our shout second, which is good. We want to use our shout second, but we need to make sure that we collapse on them after we shout. they use their shout first, which means their little HP boost is going to go away sooner. Like I said, you're not looking at the tank. I see comment looking at the tank. You said not to look at you, but this is the easy version of like you didn't get any elims. It's probably because you're looking at the tank while your tank is looking towards the back line. The easy things to kill in this are Soldier and Bap. And those are the real things you should go on unless they don't have cooldowns. I know the Queen doesn't have cooldowns, but she has a big health pool, which is essentially like a resource that she can use to do stupid things like what she's currently doing. Do you have your axe? Yeah, you have your axe. Okay. So I like this. But you shouldn't... okay, you're almost back to your axe. Okay. After you shout here, I know you're low, but you have your axe up in 1 second. Being aware of how many people you hit with your axe, every time I swing axe, I check my cooldown. My cooldown is... if I whiff it, obviously I don't check it because I know it's going to be 8 seconds. If I hit one, it's going to be 6 seconds, so on and so forth, because it reduces the cooldown per person you hit. So if I swing into like a big group of enemies and I don't know how many I hit, I check it. Because that's when I get to go in again. It's when I get to... yeah. Because right here I'm seeing 2 little squishy boys and potentially a third that I can get a big axe swing on. And I have my speed boost to close the gap. So yeah, I like this aggression. I like it. Big swing. When you're going for swings, obviously this isn't an in the moment thing, but make like a Reinhardt swing where you take your come down with the axe across your screen, but not down like you're chopping, like from side to side, like you're swinging a hammer, because the hitbox is in front of you, and so you could have gotten the Reaper and the Lamp in that same swing pretty easily, with just a slight adjustment to how you swing it. Think about it like you only need to hit it once because you can only hit it once per target. So if you swipe from right to left or left to right, it works the same. The active hitbox is like this shape, and you can swipe it in front of you. So you could push, swing on everything here. Yeah, it's okay. They move, but you get more used to it. Also, as soon as I don't know when the point unlocks. Yeah, okay, so the point unlocks here a little bit ago. So I would like our Tracer to try to pressure the point. And I would like I mean, you're doing good. You're winning the fight, right? But you have the manpower here. You're 4v3, 4v2 at some points. Tell your team, I'm capping, and go cap then. It's very important that we get the cap early if we can on flashpoint maps, because it makes things a lot easier. It gets rid of like a team fight and a half sometimes. Alright, let's see. Yep, I like that. I like that. I don't like that. Okay. I liked it up until the point where you walk into the Junker Queen bullet. So I like that you're pressuring here. They're all naded and you're trying to get your tank and your speed boost. But now you have to either yeah. You don't need to walk into the complete open here. You can get the exact same amount of value from like this positioning.
Time for the reckoning.
That was a big fat ult. So nice. You could have stayed like right in this area and still gotten like the same amount of value, if that makes sense. So yeah, try to do that. I like the TP, but you didn't necessarily need to cleanse right away. You know, it'd be nice right now, Ethan, a cleanse. You know, you TP in and cleanse, but you don't have to do that every time. And your tank just ulted 3, so it's not like she's low. Instead, in this mirror, in the Queen mirror, I want you to save your cleanse if she doesn't have ult, like she doesn't right now, if you're properly ult tracking, you know she doesn't have ult. But save your cleanse for the axe and then drop it. Like if she goes for a big axe swing on your team, because you guys are clumped up, you're playing like a counter dive comp. So you're all together, tight knit. If she goes for a big swing, you can either cleanse in response before the swing, which gets rid of everything, or you can wait for the swing to, or if you're like close to your ult, you can get a lot of healing because it does 75 healing. It basically counters the axe either way, but in one situation it gives the Junker Queen ult charge, in the other situation it gives you ult charge and the Junker Queen ult charge. Or rather, it gives no one ult charge because you're not going to heal, right? When you hit the cleanse and you're not cleansing the bleed effect, you're not going to heal your team for that 75 HP, which is stupid and broken. But yeah, this is your supports throwing. If we had cleanse, if our Lucio was not jumping into the Junker Queen bullets, you would have won that. You hit the big axe and you engage properly. So one thing to note though is you want to, like, I would have done that too. I would have gone for the 3k bleeds with the ult there. However, you're taking the fight in a spot where your DPS can't get as much value. So that's the risk. You have to be like, I'm going to hit my shots. I'm going to insta-kill them through the purple if you do that. It's fine. It's a play you can make. But you could also wait for them to try to exit this and then do it. And then they're split, right? If the tank goes in and then you do it, then the tank is in. Maybe they use their tanking cooldowns and can't get back in time. And then you can collapse on his team easier because they don't have shout, they don't have, you know. But I like the going first aspect of what you did. Also like that we saved Kyriel. We Kyrielted. Conman has done air so far. Holy crap. We Kyrielt second after we use our first Queen ult, which is good. You don't want to stack a lot of your ults with the Kyriel, because Kyriel and Bap Window are ways of recharging the rest of your ult economy. You'll get really far behind if you do it wrong.
Let the Kitsune guide
Like
you.
that. You didn't weave it very well, and you waited too long. So with Kyriel, you need to be, if we're here, our team is here, you say, we've rushed this fight, we rushed this fight. You count your team in, Ethan. You say, are we ready? Yes, no, yes, no. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, 3, 2, 1, rushing. Mason, you can amp when he rushes, and you just go. You, as a full team, you stack, you go. You don't want to use it in a corridor like this because of stuff like Reaper hiding. You want to try to amp past the corridor and get to the open space closer to the point here. That way you can get the full, like, careful. So that would have been a nice time to cleanse. But that's a reaction thing. You're fine. Let's see. Okay, so they're close to beat. They have visor. They have everything but their Kyrie and Earth roll. Nice cleanse. A little bit faster. Time for your cleanse. Time for your cleanse. Just pop it as soon as you hear it, kind of thing. If you know who's gonna hit.
Team kill.
Amp up this beat.
Alright. So let's talk about this point. Because you're on a Junker Queen comp. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay. So let's think about this point from like an analytical spot. Your team has a choke here. There's a choke here. Choke. We'll highlight the chokes in blue. There is a quote-unquote choke here. but they're not going to choke you here because you have the high ground. So that's not really a real choke. It's a fake choke. And then there's a very big choke here. So the way this map is designed, this point specifically, is you can either come in through main or whatever, or you can come in through this side alley, which is where you're probably going to come in. But you need to be aware and you need to clear these corners because this is a choke, right? They could be here already, and if they're playing correctly, they could be here and stuffing you, right? Keeping you from entering at the best possible entry. And if they're doing that, you go around and you take this high ground for free. I like that you're doing that, even though they're not necessarily stuffing you. This is a better angles. Problem with this high ground is it's very narrow sight lines. This blocks off the whole point. They have cover here. They can hide behind this thing. They can hide on this part of the high ground, or they can come up as a team. And if you're not ready, they can come from that angle. So this is a very nicely designed point where there's a lot of options. But because you're playing a close range comp, you want to hold this high ground for maybe like a second or two. Then you ultimately, when you assess and you're like, okay, they're all here in this area, your tracer set up flank, so she shouldn't be shooting yet. She should be hiding, so the Lucio does not scout her, right? Because then you can hear them even if you're hiding around this corner, and you can wait to engage for your team, with your team, instead of pestering them for no reason, letting them know you're there, letting you get like spy checked by the Lucio. Right, that makes your damage a lot more lethal. Okay, so I want you guys to drop this high ground and come play behind here, and then move here, and then move into them. Or if the opportunity arises, you have amp and they don't or something, you can go like right into them. But I like that you guys took the high ground here. Yeah, this is fine too. This is another way to get to them. Okay, Mason, what? How did you even do that? What are you doing? Mason's rollout, by the way. Into their team. It's all good. Just you want to stay with your team, Mason, especially your tank. You don't want your 11 to have to use amp. Also, you'll die if you do that. If you jump into their team, you'll tend to die. Luckily, your DPS trade you out. So it's even right now. And let's watch this. One. Waste Wraith. So there wasn't really a reason to Wraith here. You can either go to this cover, or you can go to the cover that you end up going to without the Wraith. Queen isn't going to be able to, like, one-tap you at that distance, even with your 200 HP only. I like that reprioritization. I like that Ben's also shooting it. You don't need to be this close, Ethan. Alright, so this, yeah, I figured. Okay, this is going to happen a lot until you get used to it. So right now they only have their Kiriko and their... Look at what their Kiriko's doing. See the distance between their Kiriko and their tank versus the distance between your tank and your Kiriko? Like, this is going to get hit... You're going to get hit by spray Junkrat damage. Or Junker Queen damage. You're going to get hit by random shots that the Kiri is shooting at the Junker Queen. Because 11's like just dodging, you know? It's going to happen. And most importantly, the axe. If she walks in and gets an axe, why are you clumped? There's no reason for you to be clumped. Even better than what Angel here is doing would be going up on this high ground. Or if you don't feel like you can make it there in time, you can go to this high ground. You have the ability to climb walls. You could also go to this high ground where you have the sightline cover, right? Against their comp, I want you to be on high ground, away from your queen, but focusing on your queen in this situation, right? There's times where you focus on think, and there's times where you focus on healing. But either way, it's better to do those things from behind cover on high ground or on high ground or behind cover, if that makes sense. Don't stack on your queen. You're falling into a healer fallacy. And I bet you do this on most of the heroes you play in the support role, where it's like, I want to heal them. So you accidentally like walk in. You like get closer. You'll see yourself doing this on BAP. Top 500 players do it on BAP, even though BAP heals at such a high range, right? So I you get your cleanse forced, and you don't TP to somebody who's far away. You TP to the tank who's right here, so you're still susceptible to the damage. See, you almost die. Like, you could have just not had that happen. Oh wait, do you die? You might bleed out. No, you live. W. Oh, Mason's back. Pog. Oh, welcome back, Mason. All right. So like I was saying, this is terrible for our comp. You guys are playing back high ground. What does that give your team? Right? Ethan's got it a little bit better, but at the same time, like we said, this is the choke that we want to take the fight at. As long as our DPS is in a position where they can get behind them, which he is, kind of, I'd rather you lurk this high ground. But this is like the secondary one. It's good. Ben is the only one in position. Conman and 11, you're defaulting 11 to high ground, which is better than defaulting to low ground, but at the same time, default to the choke, right? You're defaulting. So think about your positioning a little bit. Think about where they're coming from, and meet them at the choke. Like, the thing is, like, yes, this is a new map, right? And so new maps are confusing. But if you can break it down in your mind into places of chokes, LOS blockers, and, like, flanks, and high grounds, like, that's all you need to know. All right? You have to have an understanding of what a choke is. A choke is a space where a team could pass through or has to pass through. That's like hard to pass through because there's two giant walls with no flanks that are easily accessible. So if they choose to walk in through the choke, or rather you choose to walk into them and catch them off guard while they're waiting at the side of the choke, because a lot of teams will do this thing where, oh, we're waiting for our soldier to get back or our soldier to get on the flank. And you scout, like, let's say Tracer is over here instead of over there, is fine. Your positioning is good, Ben. Good job. Kudos. But let's say our Tracer's, like, on the flank, right? And she sees Soldier coming out of their spawn or, like, going on a far flank. Your Tracer can call that, retreat back to team, and then we can take the fight at the choke with a 4v5 because their Soldier's on the flank, and their Soldier has no angles, right? So you push in and negate their play and turn it against them because now it's a 5v4 instead of a 5v5. Either way, that's an option. You can also just, you have these two ults and close to beat maybe. Like, you can force beat, you can force the engage first. Make them be responsive instead of you. So what I would suggest here, obviously, I'm not the captain of the team, but here's what I would like you to do. You can use Queen ult to force beat because we know they have beat and Kyrie ult because they haven't used a support ult yet. So use Queen ult to force beat because it will. You can do that at the choke pretty easily. You tell your team amp in, everybody goes in. You can focus to kill things through beat, especially with Joker Queen bleeds. They get rid of the beat really quickly. And then after that, you can Reaper ult. So let's see. Yeah, right here, this bare minimums, you have a shotgun comp, you want to be playing here. Like, I was laughing with Mason the other day because I was like, you have the shotgun character. Why are you playing? He was playing in positions like this and positions like this, right? Safe, but at the same time, this is safe too, and you have a shotgun. So you want to get close to them with your shotgun. You don't have to use the amp to get close to them with your shotgun if you're already close to them with your shotgun. Like, think about it like in terms of space that you have to cover. Like Conman's finally getting it, but now his tank's on point. And Mason's flanking again. W. This is, Ben was telling you about this, Mason, where like there's this bell curve where in the middle you're like, I can kind of wall ride now, and then you int because you go on crazy flanks and stuff instead of just sitting with your team. And then you relearn, I just sit with my team. Love that. I like that beat. I like that we saved our Queen ult. We have Queen ult and Curie ult for next fight, and they use their Curie ult and their beat. W ult economy. And let's see. Let's break down what happens. Because Connor is playing in the correct spot. And look, 11 made it to him, but then backed up as they're walking through this choke. Like, if you're here stacked and they start taking aggro into your Kiri can teleport away. Like, you're not tanking as this character. You're tanking by hitting big axes and forcing them out of the space. So you're playing here and making a big swing. Good beat, Mason. For all I said about Mason's positioning that fight, he got there in time to beat, and he got there in time to speed his team in. So it worked. Alright, let's see. And then we go back and retake high ground. Alright, Ben. You just took this space, and you pulse bombed them from there. Meaning, they're gonna be aware of you. Probably. If they're not, they're not, you know? Mason is inting again. Mason is playing Ring Around the Rosie past our choke. He's literally... This is what we were talking about, where the Lucio player just, like, does circles on things like, wow, I'm wall riding. W. But he comes back to his team, that's fine. I like that boop. Ooh, Mason, I loved that. This is... Okay, maybe you're understanding something that I didn't think you did. Or maybe you're just wall riding and then you're like, the enemy, and you boop them into your team. But I like that you booped... What you did here is you took this choke that they were taking time to get through, and you forced the queen onto your side of the choke. Which means their supports and DPS need to hurry, use their cooldowns to get in to save the queen. Or, even better, we can kill the queen here because you forced her out of position. You can also do this to squishies. It doesn't have to be the queen. But I like that. Now you're being a little bit too much.
Next, flashpoint, bomb flats.
Wow. Alright, good job. Now make your way over to bomb flats. Where the frick is bomb flats? Is it this one? It's this one. Spawn.
Flashpoint unlocks in 10 seconds.
Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay, I like you guys' positioning. You're not taking the point. Oh, you're taking the point. This is the choke. They made it through the choke. You had so much time to get to the choke. But you captured, so we'll say you break even, except for they got to engage. W Queen ult. W Queen ult. Holy crap. Alright, let's see. I like that you used ult to swing that. Queen ult late after your supports are both dead, but we win these. W. Wow. Good job. Mason, stop inting before the fight starts. Play closer to your tank and, like, you can still wall ride, but, like, learn to wall ride and bounce between things, like passively, like this, boing, boing, instead of just holding the wall ride button and going in circles, waiting for them to shoot you. Alright, so... Oh, that's the Overwatch lead starting. I'm like, what is playing that noise? Okay, we're holding the choke this time. We're getting our cooldowns forced instead of forcing theirs. No, you hit a big axe, or you tried to. W roll. Alright, good job. Yeah, you held the choke. You won the fight, you held the choke. It's crazy how that works. Reaper's comment lost those 1v1 to the queen. Fair enough. Wait, your guys' queen died too? No, okay. I'm lost, sorry. What's the next one?
Bomb plants. Next, flashpoint. The
Wait,
ducks.
what?
Bomb plants. Next, flashpoint.
Can you die in there? I've never seen that thing move. The ducks. I think this one's the duck. Yeah. Alright, so in this one, you want to take your fights in this corridor with your short range comp. These are the chokes they could come from. You want to take your fights there. But let's see. Because you guys ended up winning the fight. Oh, never mind. This is the ducks. Yeah, you're doing that thing where you have shotguns, and Conman's the only one in position to use shotguns. So, like, you know, see how you're alone because you're like defaulting to high ground on point. That is, high ground on point is deceptive most times, especially when you're running Chuck Queen.
Flashpoint unlocked.
You want an aggressive high ground to drop into them, or yeah, y'all lose that. Y'all lose that because you let them come to you and take the engagement. Yeah. All good.
Team kill.
You get to play all the points? Wow. Meaning you lose here. Look, they're taking aggressive. Look at them. Okay, they're taking an aggressive angle. They're kind of like going in and out, but they're like scouting, ready to back up into this space, the safe space if they need to, while being around like kind of close cover with their shotguns close. And then as you force things, they don't use cooldowns, they just soft back. See that? They forced like pull, they could have forced more, you could have used more to try to engage on them. And then, now that you're walking in, they catch your engagement with Kyriel here, and then they're going to walk out. I guess you guys walked in. You guys like counter Kyriel so you can take the space too. W Kyriel. Your dies W. So I know it's scary, but you kind of want to... First of all, the fight's over. You don't need a pulse. Second of all, that looked fine, but you flicked for some reason. You don't need to do that. Just keep looking at them. A lot of subpar tracers have like a tendency to just flick on repeat. Okay, I did not want to...
The Queen! Pick it up, pick it up.
Alright, so we're probably going to take high ground again. High ground on point is fine, but you need to not stand in the wide open part. You need to be in like the shotgunny area in case, or like this shotgunny area. Yeah, this is fine. You're like trying to scout where they're coming from here.
Let's kick this off.
That's something you can do, Ben, too. You can say they're coming from main. Stuff like that.
Thanks for bunching out.
So I I assume they win this fight. Nice, you're finally playing into like the shotgun area, and they came here in the shotgun area. Yeah. Alright, well. Beat. Reaper ult. GR. Alright, next fight. So oh, I like this. You're finally playing the shotgun areas. Oh, I see. Alright, your queen got split already. Then you guys all followed the queen, but yeah, that's fine.
Time for the
Sure.
reckoning.
We shout. Let's look at your Curie positioning.
The ginger protects you.
Yeah, so here's the problem with what you guys just did.
Time for the reckoning.
Wait, never mind, it's just Ethan's fault. That positioning's fine,
Time for the
Ethan. You
reckoning.
don't need
In
to
10 seconds.
you don't need to go down the choke. You can use your wall climb to get up here. Right? You don't need to follow your tank. Again, you're just kind of dilly-dallying, you twiddling your thumbs and following the tank. You cleansed too late. You also didn't need to cleanse. You could have just TP'd to get rid of the status effect on yourself. Yeah.
Special delivery.
Reaper won though. And y'all end up winning.
Unlocked.
Nice. Now, Mason, you go pick up your team. Good boy. Nice, and you made it in time to stuff them at the choke. Ethan hits the spam on the tracer. W. Alright, well they used their cooldowns. See how they used their cooldowns to live? They used amp and shout. That means you can't kill them right now. Especially if your tank is lagging behind. They're right to push up here, by the way, 11. You should be heading the engagement. If you're here, you can punish them for using their amp and their shout at the same time. But instead you're playing distance with a shotgun character again. I like that you're playing at the choke. Big swing, you got another swing.
Time for the reckoning.
Oh my. That was big. Let's see. How many, I think you got your swing back instantly. Yeah, pretty much.
Time for the reckoning.
W. That's the game, I assume. The tracer can technically touch. Not if she does that. Well, our Reaver kind of scared her. Tracer did. W. Good job. Overall, a good game, but definitely some stuff we can clean up with our positioning, especially.